Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Well, down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law, so you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. State governors are going to be at the forefront of our resistance to the Trump regime. Say what you will about the founding fathers, but their insistence upon federalism, divesting power to the states, might just save this country from Donald Trump. I've gamed this out, literally. In the run-up to Trump's re-election, I was part of a group of senior academics, former high-ranking military officers, and civil society leaders that war-gamed just how bad a second Trump term might be. And the nightmare scenario involved his use of emergency powers to intimidate and control us. We're already seeing the groundwork being laid. Troops at the southern border, gangs declared invading terrorist organizations, and now talk of deporting so-called homegrown threats, American citizens, to offshore black sites, gulag-style prisons from which they might never return. Our system relies on norms, traditions, and respect for the rule of law. When a president has no regard for any of that, we are faced with how fragile our democracy really is. But one safeguard has proven more powerful than many realize: federalism. In our system, governors wield enormous executive power. Blue state governors across the country are standing up to Trump, mostly in court for now. But remember, governors are also commanders-in-chief of their own national guards. And yeah, the president can try to nationalize those forces, but there are things governors can do to push back. The key is having governors who will push back, who understand the existential threat that Donald Trump poses. One of those leaders is Mikie Sherrill, running for governor of New Jersey. I know Mikey. She is one of the few politicians who is the same in person as she is on the campaign trail. She's a fighter, a former Navy pilot, and someone that I campaigned alongside back in 2018. She is also fundamentally a kind and decent human being. At one point in our interview, she offers her condolences to my family. I should explain that. My dad died last week. His passing was peaceful, at home. My mom woke up early Monday morning to find his head on her pillow, but he was gone. America lost a true warrior, and I lost the best dad a son could ask for. Many of you have reached out over social media to offer your own condolences. Thank you. It means the world. Here's my conversation with Mikie Sherrill, New Jersey's next governor and a leader in the fight to stop Trump's destruction of America. Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. I'm joined today by Mikie Sherrill, a Naval Academy graduate, a good friend, and a fellow naval aviator who's now serving in Congress and running for governor of New Jersey. Mikie, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
You've got a law degree. I've got a law degree. Do you think that maybe the framers of the Constitution were onto something with this whole federalism thing? Because it might just be what saves us from an authoritarian presidency when you look at what governors will still be able to do to slow him down when it comes to everything from the Insurrection Act to healthcare to reproductive rights. I know as a gubernatorial candidate, you have to focus on local issues, but you have to be thinking at least partly about the madman in the White House right now.
Well, Ken, yeah, I think that's kind of my theory of the case exactly, is that we really are relying on states, on Democratic governors to protect us and chart a different path forward. You know, we see Trump ignoring court orders. We see him deporting people without charges, kowtowing with dictators from El Salvador and laughing it up as they're talking together about ignoring the courts. His constant love affair with Putin, and now, you know, his connection to North Korea, it just goes on. And so it's really the states, I think, that have to step into the breach, the Democratic states. And at this time, the federal government right now is really punishing states. So I have to tell you, as I've been looking forward in New Jersey, what does our future look like? How are we going to continue to be one of the most innovative states? How are we going to drive down cost here? Because it's become totally unaffordable for families. I'm focused on building houses, addressing the power needs and utility costs, driving them down with community solar, for example, making sure that we're addressing the broken healthcare system so we can drive down costs for people here in New Jersey. But as I'm working on all that, I'm talking to developers who are saying, I've called a halt to what I'm doing right now, all the projects I'm working on as I figure out what's coming, because my HVAC supplier is saying costs are going to go up 30 to 40% with tariffs. The coffee shop saying, sorry, our costs are going to go up because of tariffs because we import our coffee beans. So we're seeing this from everything from coffee to housing. Costs are going up. And we are looking now and staring down the face of a recession with an American president who doesn't care. I mean, it's jaw-dropping, right? That people are saying, look, Mr. President, we're facing a recession. He's like, yeah, we might be. Like, as long as he makes it back, as long as his bottom line continues to look really good, as long as all his billionaire friends are making money, he's largely unconcerned about everybody else.
I heard another perspective on that really got me thinking about what animates this president. Of course, it's money, right? But we've had some psychologists on this show who have talked about some of the other motivating factors, and underlying it all is the desire for control and power. And when you look at his actions through that lens, you can understand why he almost relishes the ability to destroy an economy. It is empowering. Why he relishes the ability to upend the international order, because it's powerful. And I think you're absolutely right. He totally lacks empathy for others, but if he feels powerful, it doesn't matter. And he certainly doesn't care about the Republicans who are having to run in 26. I mean, that is evident, but hopefully that presents an opening. Are you hearing from non-base Dems about, are you seeing cracks in the facade?
Well, that is what I hear from moderate Republicans that they want this election to do. Because I have to tell you, this election in New Jersey is the first place we can weigh in with how we feel in this nation about what Trump's doing. So it's up to the people of New Jersey, which is great. I feel very confident in the people of New Jersey and how they're feeling about this. But this is also an ability for people in Washington, Republicans in Washington, to finally find a pathway to break from this and say, look, this isn't working. This election, if we create the type of juggernaut of an election that I think we can, that's going to be so important, that is a way for Republicans even to break. And do I think they already should be doing that? Yes. Am I, somebody just asked me earlier, what is the red line, do you think? I'm like, well, we've crossed about everyone I can imagine, so I don't know what it would be at this point. But I will tell you, this election is so critically important. It's an inflection point on what comes in this nation. And so we have ballots dropping here in New Jersey in 4 days on April 19th for our vote-by-mail ballots. And this is when it starts. We are ready to go. We are ready to weigh in on everything from protecting rights and freedoms and protecting people from being picked up without charges and detained without charges. And Ken, you and I know what that looks like in the places that we've served. And we are also ready to chart out a different path forward, an economy that works for everyone, that creates opportunity, an innovation economy, doubling down on research, not drawing back as the rest of the world pushes in, charting a future with, how do we both support all of the new technologies of the future so they support people like AI and quantum, all the great things coming, but at the same time, really standing up against big tech when it comes to harming our kids online. So this is the future we're envisioning in New Jersey. This is a future that's going to really invest in people. And this is a future that is going to look very different from the one being envisioned in Washington right now.
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Your name, contact info, social security number, home address, even about your family members could all be compiled by data brokers and sold online. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is incredibly important to me. And it's not just about my personal privacy, it's about my family's safety. So I don't take chances. Delete Me gives me real peace of mind. So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners, today get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting KEN to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off is to text KEN to 64000. That's KEN to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. Hey, it's Ken Harbaugh. Huge shout out to everyone who has supported this show via our Patreon page. If you want to weigh in with questions for upcoming guests or give us feedback on past guests or make sure you never miss an episode, click the link below. It's free to sign up. And if you're able to pitch in a few bucks a month, just know that we put every dollar back into the show. We do have another reporting trip to Ukraine coming up. Thanks for the help. There is a palpable anger across the country. I'm sure it is highlighted in New Jersey. Having driven through New Jersey and knowing New Jerseyans, you express your anger very colorfully.
We express a lot very colorfully. We're not shy. They tell me, it's so funny. I have to tell you, Ken, people like Abigail Spanberg and Alyssa Slatkin, when I'm in Washington, they're like, oh my God, you are so loud. And I tell people in New Jersey that, and they're like, you're not loud. I'm like, right? So it is something that, there's something in the water here.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because we campaigned together. It feels like a lifetime ago. And I mean, your MO on the campaign trail was, I'm sure, similar to our affect in the cockpit, which was steady, cool, calm. How do you take the anger of not just a base, but an American public that is fed up and frustrated and looking for outlets to express that, looking for leaders to channel it? How do you channel that anger in a productive way, knowing you as I do, as someone who isn't, naturally a grenade thrower? You're not Max Rose, and we both love Max, right? He's been on the show, but how do you do that?
So, you know what I'm thinking of when you said that? My friend Bill Pascrell recently passed away. He was another member of Congress from New Jersey. And I was at his funeral, and I hope I don't mangle this, but the priest said, the quote that comes to mind here is that when I think of Bill Pascrell is that hope has two beautiful daughters, anger and courage. Anger at what is wrong in the world and the courage to do something about it. And I think of that because it's righteous anger that is needed here. It's not rage. It's not trying to scapegoat other people. It's not trying to drive divisions into people. It is a righteous anger at what is wrong in this world and a willingness and a courage to stand up to it, to stand up for other people. And I think it's the difference when I look at sort of what it means to be a leader. It's the difference between being a bully and being a protector. And I think in the Democratic Party, we know what leadership looks like. And I know what it's going to take to lead here. And I am telling you, it is so contrary to just about every single instinct that Donald Trump has.
That was part one of my conversation with Mikie Sherrill. In part two, we discuss the outrageous attacks on freedom of thought at the U.S. Naval Academy and how we can continue to explain to the American people just how dismissive the Trump regime is of the sacrifices made by those who serve in our military. See you tomorrow.
New Midas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more, all at store.MeidasTouch.com.